If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Those were the words of every school teacher in the history of education, apart from clearly Triple H's. What on earth are we doing here, Bron Breakker? Welcome to Allison Analysis. I'm Ben Allison, and I've analysed last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, and here are my 5 key findings. In at number 5, can they drag out CM Punk and Seth Rollins until WrestleMania? As I predicted, CM Punk is taking some well-deserved time off following Bad Blood. Meanwhile, Seth Rollins will be feuding with Bronson Reed. But last night, the brief stare-off between CM Punk and Seth Rollins made it clear that just in case it wasn't obvious, when CM Punk does return, he will be feuding with Seth Rollins. Of course, prior to CM Punk's injury earlier this year, it seemed set in stone that the plan for WrestleMania would be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, but of course, Punk got injured and that all went off. But now the question is, can they drag this out until WrestleMania 41? Personally, I can't see CM Punk taking a ton of time off. I really can't. It's currently early October. I'd be stunned if he wasn't back by mid to late December. So my very, very early prediction is that we are going to have Seth Rollins versus CM Punk at the Royal Rumble itself. And from there we have 2 options. Option number 1, we do a series of matches, just like CM Punk and Drew McIntyre did. Multiple matches with a blow-off match being at WrestleMania, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. It makes sense. But the second option is the one I prefer, because I think we could do the singles match at the Royal Rumble and then at WrestleMania do a blockbuster mixed tag team match, the biggest mixed tag team match in the history of mixed tag team match wrestling. Seth Rollins and a returning Becky Lynch versus CM Punk and a returning AJ Lee. Take my money, Triple H. By that point, Becky would have been gone for like a year. AJ would have been gone for like a decade. Seeing them back in a mixed tag team match with CM Punk and Seth Rollins? Yes, please. In at number 4, if you look up 50-50 booking in the dictionary, you will see an image of Bron Breakker. His booking since arriving on the main roster has made as much sense as the Joker movie being a musical. He arrived to the main roster, he destroyed everyone expected a long undefeated streak, but he lost to Sami Zayn when he made his first challenge for the Intercontinental Championship. And at the time, I was fuming about that. But he did eventually win it, so I thought, okay, they don't want to push him like Roman Reigns here, they wanted to have him lose and then win and then go on a long reign. And then he lost his first defense against Jey Uso. And then after it, they shook hands, they were all happy, so I was like, okay, maybe they're doing a face turn here. I don't like it, but okay, I can see why. Only for him to turn heel again last night on Raw. What are we doing here? Are we trying to kill Bron Breakker's career before it even properly gets underway? I thought he was the next Roman Reigns, but is he just the next Ryback? I hope not. In at number 3, I am already loving this Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens storyline. Too often nowadays in professional wrestling, heel turns feel too similar, too predictable, but this Kevin Owens one, it is different. No exaggeration, it's unlike any heel turn I've ever seen before. It's like Triple H and Cody Rhodes are trying to cover it up, trying to hide it, trying to say everything's fine, we'll take care of it behind the scenes. But I predict this Friday on SmackDown, Kevin Owens is going to make it clear not everything is fine. Cody thinks it's a lapse of judgment, but Kevin Owens is going to make it clear that he sees more clearly than ever before after Cody teamed with Roman Reigns. We all know how great of a heel Kevin Owens can be, and quite frankly, it's been so long, too long, since we've seen a heel Kevin Owens, and I can't wait for it. And I'm so glad they're putting time and effort into this storyline. It's different, it's fresh, and you have to love that. In at number 2, 2-hour Raws could come at the expense of Raw's women's division. And this was exactly what I feared when I heard that Raw was going back to 2 hours. I really feared that it was going to come at the expense of the Raw women's division, because some weeks they weren't even getting enough time as it was. And last night was just a complete joke. We saw the Women's World Champion for only 30 seconds. We saw Rhea Ripley for a promo package. And then we saw a tag match which lasted 7 minutes. And that was it. And I know it feels like I'm beating a dead horse how often I'm talking about how I criticize WWE and AEW for not giving the women's division enough time. But I feel passionately about it. And this isn't about being woke or anything like that. I've seen those comments and they're ludicrous, right? This is very simply because the women's division deserves that time. They've proved that when they get a build, when they get given time, they can draw as high of numbers as the men can. Pro wrestling is like the stock market, but time is money. The more time you put into a wrestler, the more likely it is that they will earn you money. And that is why it's so important that the women's division get time. Because if they give them time now, then they are set for the next 5-10 years. But every time I say it, people will still say, oh, you're being woke, or you're still blah, 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 blah. Guess what? I don't care. The women deserve more time, and I will keep saying it. In at number 1, fans must be living in 2019 if they actually thought that Goldberg was going to cost Gunther the world title last night. All over the internet wrestling community yesterday, seemingly everybody was predicting that Sami Zayn was actually going to beat Gunther because of Goldberg. I mean, this isn't the Vince McMahon era anymore. If it was 2019, I genuinely could see that happening. But it's not. It's 2024, and no way was Triple H going to throw all the work that he's done on Gunther over the past few years in the bin just for a match with Goldberg. And I do think it's very possible that down the line, we could see Goldberg versus Gunther. In fact, I could see it in a few months. But no way were they going to hot potato the world title just to make that match happen. But I really, really hope that Sami Zayn does win a world title, a WWE Championship in his career, because boy oh boy does he deserve it. But if he won last night, it wouldn't have felt right. When he does win the big one, it needs to be a storyline as big as the Roman Reigns one was. It needs to be a storyline which makes a lot of sense, which gives every fan an emotional connection to it. So when we do see the big blow-off in a stadium event, it will be a hell of a moment. It will be a moment which is remembered in wrestling forever. Not just a makeshift feud on a random episode of Raw. But yeah, this isn't a Vince McMahon WWE anymore, guys, and I think as fans, we need to remember that. But at the same time, I am actually glad that a lot of fans were surprised by this, because I thought it was quite a predictable match. The fact that there was some doubt added to it is, of course, very fun for us as the viewer. But that is all the analysis for this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. If you did enjoy, I'd massively appreciate it if you could hit the like and subscribe button. I will be back on Saturday to analyze Friday Night SmackDown, and of course, make sure you check out Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast live every night, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 12 p.m. Pacific. We hope to see you guys there. Peace!